Okay, can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Back in, let me try to think. Back in beginning of October, mid-October, we got a phone call reached out asking if I would want to participate in the Winter X Games for the first ever snow bike best trick event there. And we gave it some thought for a couple days, and I accepted the challenge. And from there, it's like no one's really done this before, and they don't even really have kits made for it because most kits are 120 length tracks, and it's just too long for what we wanted to do. So I pretty much had to go outsource a kit and then customize it super short. Regan Sieg and his family, they helped me get into a snow bike kit. From there on, Jeff Muller and I, we sat there and looked at this thing for a couple days. No CAD programs, no nothing, no snow experience for me. And we just kind of just took the Sawzall to it and just started cutting it all apart. It came together pretty quick, but it was all the fine tuning and finessing and changing angles of track angle. And from there on, like once we had it apart and we had an idea how it all go together, a lot of the pieces fit together pretty good.
This is original.
So now I just put it on the back and see how it fits.
I'm gonna mount it, get my my angle on the rails to the ground, and build the suspension to have it sitting level on the bike. And pray it works.
Meanwhile, all this was happening, Robert was talking to me and talking about how he was like debating on me even giving it a shot or maybe coming up and just trying it out. And this was going on for about 2 weeks. And then finally one day he like gave me the call. He's like, I'm doing it. I'll see you in a couple days. And he showed up, I think it was first week of December 5th or something like that. And we were supposed to be on my kit on that first week he showed up. But when he showed up, we still were at least a week out. It ended up being 2 weeks out before we even rode the thing.
For me, it really started probably beginning to mid-October when they first announced that this event was going to be a thing. And at that point, they had no specs, no rules, nothing to really go off of for it. It was more or less just this big, crazy idea that got thrown out. I was back and forth quite a bit on, do I do this? If I do it, how do I do it? How do I make it work financially for me? Because it was the end of moto season. I had a fairly okay season. You know, I was smart financially, put some money away to get us through the winter, and I hadn't budgeted for this whatsoever, so there really was no funding for it for me. And all I knew is, you know, if I can make it happen, it's going to be something. I started looking around, trying to find used kits I could find a deal on, and they were still just way out of my budget. I think at one point I talked to Kyle and just said, hey, yeah, you know, I don't think this is going to be for me this year. I just can't afford it financially. And I think it was either that night or the next day when my buddy Sean was picking my brain about the whole thing and just decided, hey, you know, if you really want to do this, I'll help you out. I'll buy the kit and we'll make it work. For me, I have a hard time with that kind of stuff and taking handouts. I've just never been that person. I like to work for what I have. And, you know, that was really the only way this was going to happen, is if I took that gesture and just embraced it. So I ended up getting a kit, and we picked the kit up literally the day before I came up here to Camp H to start this whole journey. Everything kind of was mellow, real slow and methodical at first, thinking about things, to just light speed at that point. Get the kit, pack everything that night, next morning bomb up here and just begin the whirlwind that was to come. I think Kyle said like December 5th or so we got up here, and they had said December 15th they wanted kits built. I think we'd finally gotten Kyle's kit somewhat working and literally had like 2 or 3 days before we had to submit videos to jump on the thing and try and ride the thing.
It was just back and forth. Like, it was pretty much every day we were just getting 1% closer. It was all we were doing. From there, like, we still had the unknown, like, what ramp are we using next games? There's 2 ramps. There's the super kicker ramp, and then there's the ramp that Jacko Strong built for the year before. And then we still have a foam pit that's covered in 4 feet of snow. We had to go and shovel all that off.
Getting old, losing my hair. tell them that I'm coming. Tell them that I'm. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. I'm trying to tell the world that I'm coming. Tell them that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. I've been standing on the outside, looking in, now it's my time. You can tell them that I'm coming for 'em. God sent me, ain't no turnaround. And I ain't leaving unless I'm bringing back a sword with me. Like I'm pulling spirits out the ground. I done seen enough to build witness. And let me show you how I'm
Try to like.
What the fuck was that? I don't know.
And you can tell them that I'm coming. And you can tell them that I'm. You ought to know by now, them streets ain't really loyal to you. Don't know why you being loyal back. I done seen it kill too many people. Strip them down for everything they got. And you can tell them that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. And you can tell them that I'm. The OGs tell me keep it going. And never let them get me off track. Hit them hard with that real talk. And let that you upstairs handle what you lack. I know I done sacrificed a lot of time for it. Letting God handle a lot of moves. Trusting in them got me higher than I ever been. Doors coming open like the hinges falling all the screws. Entitled to a new spot. Grind mode till we see the top. Got to bless a quick complaining, homie. People want what you already got. Tell them that I'm coming. Tell them that I hope they got some room for me. If not, then I'ma make a way. You can tell them that I'm coming for 'em. God sent me, so I'm here to stay.
Meanwhile, like Robert's got a brand new kit that's not even been touched yet. Mine's in pieces. My foam pit's half untarped. There's steel laying everywhere. We're just trying to figure out what task to take on. Got the foam pit untarped just in time for it just to snow. It's covered in snow after it was all untarped. And then we got my kit dialed in and finally got suspension back, got everything ready, and the thing runs great.
I'm gonna take my nervous piece.
First day on it, like first hit, straight air. Second hit, did a C-grab. Third hit, I did a backflip. This is when the ramp was close and Robert jumped on it. And how did yours go?
I think pretty similar. First jump straight air felt fine, felt obviously different. Of course, at that time we were still running the front wheel, so we had a little more moto feel to it. Hadn't even begun to think about the ski at that point. Second jump, I think I did a bar hop or a dead body or something, and that felt okay.
Biggest dead body on a snow bike today, boys.
Third jump, I followed suit and flipped it, and just like you said, we thought we had everything figured out. We thought, oh yeah, we're good, we're rocking and rolling, and little did we know, like the next month and a half afterwards, it's just back and forth, tweaks here and there, suspension changes, just a whole plethora of things that we hadn't anticipated.
I thought you were gonna no-handed flip. I was like, oh my god! Well, there's your X Games invite.
We started with the ramp it was like 25, 30 feet. The goal objective was 40 to 50 feet. So that's enough. Anyone knows a super kicker ramp, that is a huge difference on one of those ramps. Well, as soon as I pulled that ramp back and we're clicking third off that thing, yeah, we were G'ing out all the way up the takeoff. The kit was holding up, but we were just blowing through the stroke and suspension. Hit it a couple times just to take our suspension off and send it away for Vancouver to rod it arm our suspensions. We were killing so much time. It was end up being like a 3 to 4 day turnaround by the time the suspension left my house, got there, he finished it, and it got back to my house.
It was just fighting tooth and nail up to this deadline they gave us to get videos submitted to even try to get an invite to X Games. I went home for the holidays, and I think we were home less than a week. It was so hard to try and get back into just being normal, being at home. I mean, my head the whole time while I was home was just so hyper-focused on this and trying to just stay mentally fit for that. A big piece of this for me has been my counselor that I see on a regular basis, just to try and work through issues I have in my own personal life, but let alone the mental challenges and hurdles that this sport throws at me. I think December 18th or 19th, we both got a phone call saying we're in, and just the craziest emotions ever to know like we're going, like we made it happen. Now the real hard work has to be put in motion here. I had a phone call today.
Of what?
I don't know. What do you think was going on today?
I don't know, you watch the kids all day. You're making me really uncomfortable.
Why?
You got a phone call about what today?
That's
Sean?
probably not going to keep you warm enough where we're going.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't know, am I?
I don't know. Are you being serious?
I don't know.
I thought it was at the end of the weekend. Are you being? This is not funny. Please don't mess with me. Are you being serious? What is that? What are you doing?
We're going to Aspen.
Are we really? You swear you're not like full of shit.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my god, I'm so proud of you. Are you serious, honey?
December 18th, I had to fly to Argentina for an event for Red Bull. And it was a quick demo. Flew home December 23rd. 2 out of 3 bags show up. And they tell me that they've lost a bag. And that bag, it had my gear, my knee braces that I only have one set of, and it had my ECU for my bike. It's my mapping, so it leans my bike out, so it just runs a lot better. And a few other things that were pretty important for our training for up here. Okay, I didn't stress it too much, like a day or two is gonna go by. It's Christmas. I got a few days to get through. Like I figured it was gonna be, you know, like December 28th, 29th, I would have had the bag. Call a week later, oh, I don't know where your bag is. We still don't know where your bag is. And this brings us to the first week of January. And it was so cold here. Bike was just rich. They come stock running rich as is. And then being in that such cold weather, that bike was running like crap. Ended up taping the radiators and putting a lower octane fuel in the thing just so it would burn hot. It wasn't until January 11th or 12th that my bag finally showed up. And once we plugged that thing, the ECU back in the bike, man, world of difference.
I think day after Christmas, bomb back up here, start getting back to work, doing what we need to do, making changes, testing. Meanwhile, still pushing my kit out because we don't want to cut into a brand new kit before we get one of them figured out at least. It was just a lot of back and forth, down the hill to Muller's shop, bringing stuff back up here, sending suspension out like Kyle had mentioned, and just a lot of stress just because everything at that point was real. It was, okay, now it's legitimately happening. We have to make this work. X Games at the end of January.
We talked to Rod and gave him a call. And we're like, hey man, like, is there anything you can do? And he was the first one to stand up. He's like, I'll be there. It's Wednesday. I'll be there Friday night. So sure enough, the guy showed up Friday night, and what he even thought was relevantly close, and it wasn't even close. First hit, like, just still blow right through it. Brought it back in the shop, took it all apart, rebuilt suspension, made it stiffer, went back out there again. We hit it a handful of times each, and we brought it back in here, and he just wanted to make it a little extra stiffer and ordered heavier springs. He's never even never even made a kit or any setup suspension that stiff in his life. While this is still being done, my kit's the only one that's built. Robert's is still in the crate. After he left, my kit was perfect. It was working well. Like, we were doing all our flip combos. We were jumping it no problem. It was comfortable to jump. Still with the front tire, no ski, no nothing, but we were just trying to get comfortable with one thing and then move on to the next. So then I think it was like that Sunday or Monday, we sat down and we took Robert's kit and we just took the Sawzall to it. We just started hacking it one day with Jeff and got all in pieces and got all laid out what needed to be fabricated, what needed to be machined, what needed to be lathed, all in order. And Robert and I came with a game plan and we're like, okay, I'm gonna do 10 jumps. You're gonna stay out of gear. I'll be soaking wet because now it's warm and the foam pit's now a sponge pit. I'll do 10 jumps. We'll come back in. I'll switch in, take my gear off, put it on the dryer, and go out there. You gear up, and that way we're dry. We go out there. My 10 jumps were like, come out swinging, Cordova flip, tsunami flip, seat grab flip, heart attack flip, Indy air flip, all my big flip combos. To my last jump, I'm like, hey, one more. Did a seat grab Indy flip.
Fuck! Get me out of this fucking thing, hurry up!
Back of my heel got pinched in between the kit and the bike somehow. It's the smallest little hole and just the seam of it caught it perfectly. It hurt. Jack, everyone quickly got me out of pulled me out of the foam pit, and I rode back to the shop and I could barely walk on it. I was able to walk on it. That rest of that day, I just iced it, chilled out. Woke up the next day. We had to go to Cologne to get more parts for Robert's kit to build it. And in my head, I'm like, oh, it's just a sprain. It's just a sprain. Like, I just sprained my ankle, or it just felt like I got hit in the heels of the shopping cart pretty hard. While we were in Kelowna, I messaged Damien from 40th, pretty much the Red Bull physio, and he was like, honestly, he's like, I think you might have done Achilles damage. Like, head to your closest physio, get it checked out, and let me know what's going on. I went down there. I'm like, I'm here. I think I have an Achilles tendon rupture. I'm not 100% sure. And he took one look at me and was walking the door. He's like, no, you don't. And he's like, you have maybe something else, but your Achilles tendon's fine. He's like, you're walking. He sat me down in the bed and started moving my ankle in these ways and moving my toes. And he's all like, no, like if someone had Achilles tendon rupture, they couldn't do this. Flipped me onto my stomach. And that one gave me what they call it, the Thompson test, when they squeeze your calf and see if your ankle moves. Well, my ankle didn't move. My foot didn't move. And then he felt down the backside of my calf into the backside of my foot, and he felt like where the Achilles tendon usually is, it goes flat into a divot. And he just looked at me and he's all like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's like, you ruptured your Achilles tendon. He's like, you need to go to the hospital now. And in the meantime, I'm in my head, I'm trying to figure out how I can make bigger foot pegs so I can stand on my bike better, or how can I tape my boot up, or get a custom ankle brace in my boot so it'll just hold my foot together enough to get me through this event. And he's like, I strongly advise it. He's like, you're lucky right now.
The guys in Vancouver, those Olympic docs, those kind of guys, they're going to be able to tell you better than I am if there's a way we can boot this thing, tape this thing. But with that Achilles being gone, I assume you need some kind of power in that ankle to shift, do what you need to do.
Even if I can get it just to be a solid unit, I can make do with it for one jump.
Man,
Is it worth getting a second opinion just to...
bet a second opinion's gonna be. That's why
I
I'm
had 2 opinions in there too.
Really?
When you came in and looked.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye. 3 weeks out.
What if we went to a walk-in? Does that help or?
No, I need. The thing is, I wonder how busy the hospital is.
We'll be able to do it.
Let's go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. Wasn't even there for an hour. They sent me to a different hospital to meet with the surgeon. I meet the surgeon and he's all like, yeah, buddy. He's like, it's broken. We're going to cast you or we can put surgery.
The other option is surgery and finding the tendon ends and with heavy sutures putting them back together. But they're just hold it together. And
Yeah,
your body is what has to heal it. And recovery is long because tendons take a long time to heal.
For sure.
And if you go hard too early and it comes apart, holy cow, then it gets hard.
And he gave me the pros and cons of each, and I was like, let's do surgery. And we were talking. I'm like, when can we do it? Like, sooner the better. He's all like, well, I can do it tonight. I'm all like, it was 3 o'clock. I'm like, what time's tonight? He's like, 6. I'm like, oh, let's do it. He's like, you got everything? He's like, what do I need? Like, I'm here, let's do this. He's like, all right.
So I know this is a non-question, but what is the chances of him getting, like, supporting it to get through the next 2 weeks of training and going to X Games?
No. Well,
Like, is there?
I mean, it's a pretty important muscle. I can't see how he wouldn't ride at that level, any level, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty weak without your Achilles tendon. That's really the only muscle you have to push off.
Yeah. Film this. This is the show. This is the money maker. All right. You should dance first. You look like Hugh Hefner in a hospital.
I spent the last couple months building the snow bike kit that's really like pretty new, like no one's really doing it, just whoever wants to take the project on themselves. And we spent hours developing this thing and building it and testing it, and we finally on last week, end of last week, we had the kit together running perfect. Like suspension was dialed in, the thing was running amazing, the tricks were coming along like normal. So I just put my head down, time to work, and pretty much the first day of really getting into it heavy, I just slipped a peg, which I've done many times, and especially the foam peg shouldn't be a big deal, but the foam kind of pushed my foot back, and it got pinched in between the bike frame and the snow bike kit frame. And it's literally a gap like that big, and the back of my heel got caught in it. I woke up this morning and literally 12 hours later I'm in surgery, so not how I plan to start my year.
So he got me in the surgery, and the next thing I know, it's 9 o'clock at night. I wake up and I'm back at home by midnight, and there goes my X Games sport. Woke up this morning, go check out physio. 12 hours later in the surgery.
All right, babe.
But road recovery now, buddy.
No way on that leg.
I know. Just let me lock everything up.
We
Okay,
will.
Jack, what do you want me to say? Surgery was fine, like I passed out, no problem. Now we start the road to recovery.
Yeah, lots of sleep, babe.
Lots of sleep.
We've come up with a lot of great ideas over dinner and stuff to help you out. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, not to be the bearer of bad news, there's no faux soup open.
It's alright, we can grab something else. So now we have a brand new kit that's cut in a million pieces laying in my shop, and we have my bike that's 80% built ready for this. So it was pretty much like take all focus and direct it straight to Robert and help him give him the tools, the bike, everything he needed. So he was ready for this event, and the last couple of weeks has honestly been up to him.
It's weird to relive that whole thing.
Yeah.
Just from the beginning, the first go around, getting a kit coming up here, it was on a whim, so to speak. Just kind of surreal to know that we were going to be chasing after this, especially considering we first started riding together 10 years ago, and we'd always thought to go to X Games, so it was cool to be able to take a new discipline, something totally new to both of us, and try to go for it and be reliving like the good old days, so to speak. There pretty much still owe every penny on that kit that I brought up that we pushed and pushed and pushed to not cut up until we were absolutely certain that Kyle's worked and it would work, just so we didn't jeopardize two of these things. And you know, the day that we cut the thing up, we literally just went to town, me, Jeff, and Kyle, and cut the track, cut the rails, made brackets, did all these things. And like Kyle said earlier, I mean, it was, you know, a million pieces now that this kit lies in, and these things aren't cheap. My buddy Sean Brewer actually is the one that sponsored this kit to me, and very, very good, nice gesture of him, and they had me pretty wigged out. And it's just funny, like now we're not even using that kit and it sits in pieces, and literally the day after we cut the thing up is when Kyle got injured, and we just decided, you know, let's just focus 100% on his kit and make that one work.
Jeff Muller and I in that month, mostly Jeff, honestly, like I was in Kelowna, he's got about 70 to 80 hours on the kit, like just trying things and putting it together and come up with ideas and just trying. Yeah, we're just trying to like make it. Our goal was like we had a concept what we wanted. We saw what someone built in the past, and we wanted. I personally wanted to make it close as possible to a normal stock looking kit. It took us some time. took a lot of time trying to get that thing built to where it was. I think I'm lucky I've had who I had on my side, Jeff, to help build it for me, and Rod, because I've got about $12,000+ invested in that kit just to build it to where it is right now. And I got really lucky with a screaming deal that the Sieg family gave me. If I had to go purchase one from a dealership and then go from there, I'll be looking probably around like the $16,000 mark. Pretty happy about the help I've had on this.
So we've just been plugging away the last few weeks, and then with Kyle getting injured, I mean, we were on such a good pace, had so much momentum behind us, that took a lot of wind out of obviously Kyle's sails, because that ended for him right there. But then myself also, it was weird to be isolated at that point and know that the journey from here was going to be mine, and just try to stay focused and keep going forward, and not really having my buddy there to kind of help and judge off of and push each other. That's honestly been the biggest struggle. And then on top of that, we've had horrible weather, just crazy warm. So it'd be frozen in the morning, you'd get 1 or 2 jumps in that were solid, and then temperatures would rise. We'd have slush with ice underneath, or standing water even. I mean, there was times I was riding through like 3-inch deep puddles of water. Couple that with throwing a ski on finally, and then trying to adapt to that after riding the moto wheel, which at least made it somewhat familiar, having a wheel in the front. And in all honesty, like up until yesterday, I had about a week and a half where I was questioning everything, whether this was going to happen, if we could make the ski work well enough, if we could even get the tricks that we were doing prior to putting the ski on. Hit the foam pit for another round. We got the ski on today. We got some wheels in it finally, so we're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully it's not too much different, and yeah, just keep progressing from here.
Okay, that's way different.
The ski ended up being a heck of a lot more challenging than I anticipated. You know, and obviously that went on after Kyle had been injured, so we didn't really have the ability to, if everything had gone the way it was going to go, have 2 kits rock and roll at the same time to where we could make separate changes on the ski. One person could try one thing while another tries the other, or play against each other and get feedback.
Jumps like shit with it straight air, but you flip it, it's about the same.
You know, and this thing being so new, all we had to go off of was what Jacko did last year, which we tried, and that version for me didn't work so well. I hit the ramp once and decided just to flip, because that's what I'm comfortable doing on the thing, and it drug so hard it felt like if I were on a dirt bike and just stomped on the rear brake on the ramp and tried to power through it. It was horrible. And then currently I'm shaving down these carbides just so they won't grab, because we had one of the jumps prior to these rear wheels here that the carbides grabbed up the ramp, and it was probably one of the most terrifying things ever. That immediately for me was out the window. We've gone through countless different sizes of caster wheels and different styles. We've modified some with the help of Jeff, trying different configurations of the wheels, different spacing, different depths, taking carbides off, putting them back on, cutting and hacking into this thing and just hoping and praying that it works. Day 2 with the ski, we made some modifications to hopefully combat the instability we've been experiencing yesterday. Time's getting pretty short here for all this, so hopefully this will be the cure-all. We don't have to do any more tweaks, and then we can just progress from here. Spend the next couple days just hammering it out, getting ready for X, and send it to the airbag maybe a couple times, get used to that, and then go kill it.
Yesterday we had beautiful blue skies. It was pretty warm out, and today we woke up and we're in the midst of a full-blown winter storm.
'Cause it's about to get heavy. It's about to be on. Yeah, man, slinging napalm. So nobody move. 'Cause I was sent to warn you. The devil's in the next room. The silence, the blinding ultraviolence, knocking at your door, pacing back and forth, wanting out.
It's Wednesday, definitely less than a week now before X Games. Originally this was going to be our last day up here, and we had some hiccups with the ski, so spending probably an extra couple days. We'll see how today goes. We're going to pretty much just beat ourselves up in the foam pit all day today, and hopefully we got all the bugs worked out and we can start rocking and rolling again and pick up where we left off. Fuck, I got squirrely on that ramp. So everything since that ski's gone on or gotten put on has been a struggle, trying to get it to function properly, trying countless different designs, and it's just all the tricks I had in the bag, so to speak, with the front wheel on, just are not they're not working for me right now, and I don't know if I'm just thinking too much, it's in my head, or what. But it's just been frustrating. I'm starting to question everything. Just decided maybe I'll try something completely different and tried to jump off the back this time instead of over the front, and it seemed to be a little bit better. Woohoo! That was way easier than doing something in the front.
The hell was that?
I don't know, I was playing around. Time's short, time's limited, but we might just try and see if we can't get something totally different we weren't anticipating bringing in.
'Cause it's about to get heavy. It's about to be on. Yeah, man, slinging napalm. So nobody move. 'Cause I was sent to warn you. The devil's in the next room.
We got the ski working good. It actually feels pretty damn similar to a wheel, so I think from here on out we're gonna see a lot of good progress and be able to pick up right where we left off before we switch to the ski from the wheel.
Didn't quite get everything that I wanted to take to X Games, but I think we got a good solid chance at this. So, you know, it's been great to have Rod from RMR up here to test with us. I mean, that was huge. If he hadn't done that, it would have been like Turcotte yesterday, just fighting tooth and nail trying to make his kit work and being so frustrated. Jeff Muller, all the countless hours and restless nights he's thrown into the kit to help make this thing a reality. And then on top of that, just me and Kyle here just trying to stay strong and, you know, work on our fitness and just work on riding the bike, work on the kit, make all these changes. It's been one heck of a journey. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to see that anyone else at X Games is be as prepared as we've gotten to this point.
We're pretty much there. We're ready to go for X Games. About as ready as we're going to be given the circumstances. Didn't quite get both the tricks I wanted, but I got one of them, and I got a couple other things I can throw out. They're a little easier for me. So X Games 2018, here we come.
Today is Saturday. X Games is now less than a week away. We'll be home tonight, be home all day Sunday, and then bright and early Monday morning we're packing up the truck and making a 20 to 22 hour drive to Colorado for X Games, trying to stay focused, trying to remember my training, everything I've been through to this point, the good, the bad, trying to piece all that together so that I can just be in the best shape possible for this whole deal and hopefully come out with a medal in the end.
down to whether or not it was too big of a risk to take. And I could see it was eating at him to not commit to going for something like this. I've been in this with him long enough to know that if you don't take those risks, then there's no point. I think he realized just how committed I was, how committed his friends were, and how much we believed in him, and we knew that he could do it. Being at home these 2 months with the kids on my own has been rough. I won't even sugarcoat that. I'm so used to traveling everywhere with Robert. You know, I've got that down, taking the kids everywhere. It's easy anymore because that's our norm, is being together and traveling. With the exception of international travel, when he's gone for those, it's usually 5 to 10 days at a time. But you know, 2 months was a lot. We saw him. He came home for 4 days at Christmas, and that was awesome. But it was a whirlwind. You know, the holidays kind of came and went with everything, and it was exciting because when he was home for Christmas, that's when we got the call that he received an invite to X Games, which was huge. I mean, I won't lie, my nerves were crazy that whole week. All I could think was, you know, good news, it's gotta be good news, because the holidays and family, and it just, I was so afraid that he would be sitting here on Christmas just a nervous wreck waiting for that call. So getting that call before Christmas was super awesome. That made me feel a lot better. Our heater broke before Robert left, so keeping the wood chopped a couple times a day, going out there chopping wood, filling the wood stove. You know, it starts early. We start at 6 a.m. and I make my coffee. I make it super strong. Everybody jokes that it's race fuel. We just hunker down and we do things, whether Daddy's here or not. We do the best we can. That's something that we're okay with, because life is too short to not go for those things. And I think the best example that we can set for our kids is to not give up and to chase those things. Because if you're not living your life to the fullest and you're not following your heart the way it's pulling you to, I just don't see a point.
Tonight's the night, we're gonna take off these chains. Some it came with a warning, now we're all out of time. This romance with ignorance has left us behind. Sit back, relax, begin. It's too early for surrender, too late for a prayer. We can't go to hell if we're already there. They say the end is coming and I need to prepare. We can't go to hell if we're already there. It's no mystery, what can I say? We're blind by design, and history keeps getting paid to change its mind. Some will never mend. Divided by deception, but together we must rise. Deafened by the naive while we silence the wise. So sit back, relax, begin.
Thursday, January 25th, first day of X Games. Sled events are taking place today and tomorrow. We got snow bike event Saturday, Sunday, so we got practice Saturday and the event Sunday. We got here Tuesday and went out to this practice spot a couple hours from here, and conditions weren't exactly the best. The snow wasn't great, the ramp wasn't at the right gap, and the landing wasn't the best. Mainly due to the snow, but got a handful of jumps in on the snow bike, so that was kind of rad to be able to jump to a landing, but it's just super inconsistent with everything there. We ended up snapping a couple parts on the snow bike, so We scrambled from there and made some calls, got in touch with some people, and we're having some new parts machined. We're gonna pick them up this morning at some point. It was a bit scary there. I mean, we drove 24 hours straight to get here just to have that thing break within the first few jumps, and it was pretty disheartening. But I'm pretty confident we're gonna get things figured out. We had some great help. This guy Carson out here in Carbondale, been around for quite a while. He really helped me out. Tyler at Octane got me in touch with them, so we're stoked on that, and we can go into practice Saturday and go get comfortable and do what we need to do, so Sunday we're ready to rip and rock.
There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, knocking out bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible, 'cause we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Every spotlight, every soundbite, everybody who gave up is just a fuel for wanting him more than anybody against us. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, knocking out bodies, standing on top like a champion.
Today is Armageddon, D-Day, game day. The day that we have been looking forward to and working towards for the last 3 months. Still trying to process that. It's kind of a weird thing. Waking up the day you're getting married or waking up the day you're having a kid kind of thing. Pretty big deal. Practice actually went decent for what it was. Conditions weren't the greatest. The landing deteriorated pretty quick. The ramp wasn't at the gap I wanted, so we had to go back and try and take power out of the bike. Oddly enough, we bent shaft number 2, went to the local Ace Hardware, True Value, Napa, and grabbed a handful of furniture parts and automotive accessories to throw a new piece back in that kit, and hopefully it works.
I ain't gonna die tonight. You can't kill me, not my spirit. History is ours tonight. The people are chanting, can't you hear it?
Open up the doors on them. We playing the night. Bring on the marching band and turn on the stadium lights. Whew, they gon' learn from me. This is how church should be. Life of a champion. So Freddie Mercury sneaking in the Hove. Concerts and nosebleeds. The Hove being like, whoa. Yeah, independent, keep killing these people and don't sleep. Even the pigeon toes still standing on both feet. You know, it's obvious whose night this is. Grandparents, immigrants, couple Irish kids. Victory in my grasp, gotta fight for this. The streets are ours this evening, going undefeated. I roll the dice against a staircase. State season got a marinate. If I happen to die tonight, put my spirit in the stars. Bury me in a grave and carved that history was ours. Said
I ain't gonna die tonight. You can't kill me, not my spirit. History is ours tonight. The people are chanting, can't you hear it?
I ain't dead yet, and if I was in heaven, I'd be the best Dress my closet, looking like a swap meet in Texas. And maybe it's excess, but we ain't cuffing the same club player. Talking to a boss player, checks like a ball player. Easy money, all layups. I be pissing off neighbors. Get up off my dick and get the finger like a crossfader. I be in my lawn chair, stargazing like whoop. All praise to the Most High. Your boy in his own J's. I made it to courtside. Remember the old days and praying for cosigns. When labels offer me pay, I said that I won't sign. I took my weakness and turned that into a weapon. And when everybody doubted me, I turned that to my leverage. So I stand up on the stage. It wasn't planned, see it was destined. Look at 50,000 people with their hands into the heavens. Said I ain't gonna die tonight. You can't kill me, not my spirit. History is ours tonight. The people are chanting, can't you hear it?
Welcome to the fourth and final day of X Games Aspen 2018. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jimmy Coleman, standing alongside Chris Barant, and we come to you tonight with a brand new event. X Games pushing progression out here. Not only is it a brand new event here for the X Games, this event has never been contested before. We're talking about snow bike best trick. Basically taking a dirt bike, you get these conversion kits, you take the wheels off, put the track in the back, you've got a ski on the front forks right there, and we are set to kick it off with our first competitor. He comes from freestyle motocross background. This is his second X Games appearance, first winter one. This is Brody Wilson.
Got a Guns N' Roses t-shirt and never listened to the band. Just being honest, I just thought that shit looked cool. Hold up, do you know who I am? Woo! Turn the block to Woodstock. Retire, don't think that I could stop. Jet ski the way I ride the beat. And fuck your wave, I'ma die knowing that I did me. I got some words and I cannot let them die in me. This is arena status, our bones end up in the ground. Does it even matter? Make some good music, get what you put in, get out and go and leave the planet.
California roll, come on, stick it. Pulls it clean the first time around.
In between we live, love prosper. Hands to the sky, catch a gospel. Roll the dice.
We have Robert Haslam here up next. Robert is actually going to be running a kit that this is the first short track kit, and what the purpose of this is to get upside down.
By myself. The same writers criticizing my rhymes are the same writers that are gentrifying Bed-Stuy.
That was a good save. He was way into the bars on that landing.
Between a rock and a hot blaze, cold-blooded with the stomp face, fire breather, fire breather.
Going for the heel clicker combo.
What the fuck you think I'm doing it for? Hungry like it's my rookie year, and I'm new to the sport. The game is tied up.
86.33. That'll put him in second place at the end of round number one.
Liabilities and assets, and I'm showing up to practice, shooting early, getting baskets. There's no father to my style. I'm just a freckle-faced bastard, an animal in the jungle, running, hunting with the habit. Abracadabra, that motherfucker is magic. It's 81 and Madonna is on me dancing. I'm sorry, mama, I got it. I know I share my manners. I probably go double platinum if I can think of an ad-lib. I'm Jazz Prince, I rap a lot. I grew up on Scarface, now Brad's my dog. Woo! Irish goodbye, sayonara, and we mob. And put the nail in the coffin, motherfucker, I'm on one. Between a rock and a hot place.
No idea how he rode out of that one. He's been training with Canadian rider Kyle Demelo to prepare for this event. Kyle out with the torn Achilles. Look at how off axis he is right here. Look at the way he's drifting.
Talk about commitment. That's a just such a gnarly trick.
He just didn't get he didn't get completely extended on that. So Rob Adelberg is going to walk out of here, his first ever Winter X Games appearance, and he's going to take home a gold medal. Jackson Strong with the silver. And how about Robert Haslam coming in, X Games rookie, and he takes a bronze.
You know I'm back, like I never left. Another sprint, another step, another day, another breath. Been chasing dreams, but I never slept. I got a new attitude and a lease on life is a piece of mind. Seeking to find I can sleep when I die. Want a piece of the pie, got the keys to the ride and shit. I'm straight. I'm on my way. Get up my way. I'm running late. What can I say? I heard you died twice. Once when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name. So when I leave here on this earth, did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame? Legend is Exodus, searching for euphoria, trudging through the mud to find the present, no ignoring. I got 20,000 deep off in the street like we some warriors. My mama told me never bow your head. Whoa.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again.
All right, let's go.
Born for this, born for this. It's who I am. How could I forget? I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am. How could I forget? I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
Well, we're home. We're done. X Games, Winter X Games 2018 is a wrap. It's kind of a weird place to be after spending the last 2 or 3 months of my life just tooth and nail training, fighting for a spot, let alone to actually get there. Prior to being home right now, I've been home less than a week in 3 months. So just trying to get back to normal life, quote unquote. I think for sure this has been a test not only for myself, but for anyone else that's kind of looking in from the outside. This hasn't been an easy journey by any means. It's definitely been something that I've had on my mind for a long time to pursue and try to make happen. And probably one of the biggest goals or dreams I've had set for myself since I was a kid and started riding motorcycles. So I'd actually go to X Games and let alone get a medal on top of that as a rookie in X Games. Pretty cool experience. Pretty overwhelming at times. I mean, I'm still having moments where it doesn't seem real. I would say for anyone out there that has a crazy dream, whether it's you want to be an astronaut or you know, a doctor, lawyer, or a professional athlete, I say reach for the stars. You never know what you might achieve. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of dedication, a lot of time. I mean, it took me over 10 years to get to this point. Follow your dreams, kids, and keep after it. Times are going to be tough. You're going to be tested, but that's all part of the journey, and that's the important thing, is to enjoy it while you can. Enjoy the journey there, because as soon as you get to that end result there, I mean, it comes and goes quick. So keep pushing, make it happen.
Can you even see what you're fighting for? Bloodlust and a holy war. Listen up, hear the patriots shout. Times are changing. See a dying star.
God, there's literally so many people that I could thank for this. Starting with my wife, my family. I don't think this would have been possible without Miranda and her support keeping the household together. I think at the end of the day, having them has definitely made me stronger, made me fight for this even harder, which I'm eternally grateful for. Thanks to my buddy Kyle Demelo, Jeff Mueller for bringing me on board, letting me kind of get in on this and getting that kit knocked out. So Jeff, Elevation Performance, awesome. Got that thing to work. We know what to do for next year, so we're gonna kill it there. Kyle, no injuries next year. We're gonna make this happen. Rod at RMR Suspension, could have done it without you either. Just your time in general is just valuable. Appreciate it more than words can say. Hum Kombucha, you guys believed in me from the beginning. We did it, we made it. Max at Fly Racing, same thing. Thanks for giving me a shot, believing in me. Appreciate it. Guts Racing, you guys are awesome. Happy to be working with you. Duval, you guys, the local guys, it's cool to do something big for the Northwest and have you guys a part of it as well. Finlay Hats, you guys have been there from the beginning, so same thing. It's cool to have you guys from the beginning and have you guys be a part of the journey and be able to come along with me and see just how far we can push this. And I'm excited to see where we can go from here with you guys as well. Kelly, Circle of Life Holistic Care, you were a huge part of this. There's absolutely no way that this would have happened without you giving me the tools to mentally be strong enough to face anything and everything, which literally at X Games we did. We faced anything and everything. Testing myself to the limits and even being out there on the course and not really sure if we were gonna stick a trick or not. I mean, it was gnarly out there. Things just didn't feel right, so to speak, and we still fought through it and made it happen and somehow channeled into something deeper than I even thought I was possible, so thank you. Tyler, Amanda, Willie at Octane Addictions, you guys are awesome. Not just for the graphics kits, but the support as well. I mean, you guys' support's been just amazing. Kanan, you guys have been there too, so I appreciate it. Really, everyone else, family, friends, I could sit there and name off names, but we'll be here forever. So you guys know who you are. I appreciate everything from the beginning you guys have done for me and got me to this point. And I guess on that note, really it's just from here, the sky's really the limit. We're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna keep trying to do bigger and better. It's kind of scary to think because I don't really know where that exactly ends or where that goes from here, but we're gonna find out. So I think 2018 is gonna be a great year. Camp H family, let's do this.